Well, Coach, last home game of the year, and the year hasn't gone exactly like you guys wanted, but they came out and they put a lot of fight into the game, and especially for the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, no question that credit a lot of our kids and how hard they played, and you know, play a team like that where it's 14-6 in the fourth quarter, and our kids are gutting and scrapping and getting everything out of what they've got. There's a lot of kids that had to drag their butts off the field today. It's just a credit to how hard some of those kids are willing to play.
Fort, first drive, no huddle, spread offense, option, just moved down the field almost at will. It looked like this could be a long one right from that first drive. And after that, the guys kind of found themselves and were able to slow down. And it seemed like your guys' offense was the key to that, keeping the ball in possession for pretty much the entire game. It
Yeah,
seemed like.
we really did. I mean, the offense was able to and just keep control of the football and get some first downs and, kind of control the tempo of the game a little bit. And primarily because the kids were just playing hard, and we got stopped a few times, where we should have picked up some first downs, but yet, I think from a consistency standpoint, this is as good as we've seen.
You guys had 4 starters that I saw that were on the bench tonight. You had Kuster, Zimmerman, Thompson. There was one more. Mike Bass. I mean, those guys mean a lot to this team, and to have them on the injured and not able to play really seemed to already put you guys at a disadvantage. How well did their backups step up and play?
Well enough to compete with Fort Atkinson. I will say that. And I hate to say it this way because I don't want to, have any of our kids think that I'm thinking down of them, but for a lot of the game, we had a lot of kids out there that have started in JV games this year and starting for us. And, they've improved, but yet our hand has been forced a little bit too. But those kids step out there without any fear and make plays. I mean, some of those kids made some really nice plays tonight. Kids that we never maybe would have expected to have to see the varsity field this year. So, I realize we've had some adversity and gone through some injury issues, and Cody Wolf goes out in the second quarter. There's another one. Chalk that one up for another guy out. And we just keep fighting and scrapping and clawing, and I'm proud of our kids for that.
Ryan Hughes, you asked him at the beginning of the year to play offensive line, position he'd never played because you needed help there. Now with Thompson out, you asked him to put on the old number 2 jersey and go out and play tight end for a game, which meant you needed another offensive lineman. And looking down at the sheet today, you had 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior on that line, and they seemed to play possibly the most solid game up front that they had all year.
Yeah, it's the same group that started last week for us, and when Ryan came back from his suspension, we said, we're going to leave you 5 intact, and you're all underclassmen, and we'll let you play another game. We thought you did a nice job last week, and we're just going to insert Ryan into the tight end role, and we know that he has athletic ability to run and catch and do those things, plus he's blocked at a position right next to that at the tackle spot. So it seemed like a good move and maybe another weapon, which, he ran some counters pretty nice out of a tight end spot, which you don't normally see. And so, and then he blocked well for us too there.
And one guy that is usually pretty unsung, I saw him make a few really hard short yardage situations where he got the downs, and he made a couple big blocks, and that's Turner Biernick. I mean, he just seemed like when he needed a play from the short side, he was able to hit somebody and make just enough happen to get that first down or to move the chains.
Yeah, and you know what? He's maybe a little bit unsung, but in our books, he's a near MVP for us right now. And he plays as hard as anybody we have. We're asking him to go both ways. And he leaves nothing on the field. And made a lot of nice plays, a lot of big hits. I think about him. I think about Seth Calloway and how hard he played tonight. I think opening kickoff, their best guy runs down on the kickoff team, or when their first kickoff, James Nottigal is their guy to fly down the field. And we put Callaway in a position to light him up, and he just crushed him. And this is a D1 type big animal that just terrorizes people on a football field, and we're putting him on his back. So guys like that really make me smile for the future because they are all underclassmen.
And Tyler Elmer at quarterback, another game that he gets a chance to start. Not a lot of teams can start a freshman QB and feel pretty good about themselves. And if it wasn't for a few drops, he would have had, it seemed like, a really nice game. And here in the fourth quarter, he was hitting guys on target until the floating duck that was
Yep.
an interception for a touchdown, but do you just chalk that up to a
Oh,
freshman
yeah.
mistake?
I know it goes in the stat book, but I could care less. The kid's scrambling for his life trying to make something happen. He's a 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid out here trying to survive against the 6-1 Badger Conference type team with animals on their side, and good luck asking too many kids to do that. Tyler did it, and I don't care what his stat line is today. He played an impressive game and a heady game and a confident game. I mean, the touchdown he threw to Jake Flannery was all those two. That wasn't a primary target and primary look in that play, and those guys made a play, and so excited for what he's going to keep doing down the road.
In that second quarter, you guys got the ball right away off of a fumble, and you had about 20 snaps, I think it was, took 8 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. You didn't get anything. The field goal was blocked, and then it seemed like just a little bit later there was that fumble that could have tied the game.
Yeah.
And it went the other way, and all of a sudden they got the touchdown to just take momentum right into halftime with 26 seconds left. How big was that play, and what did you see as that developed?
Well, it was huge. It was huge, and as anybody saw where I was on the field, dead center in the middle, because I believe that was a definite mistake by the officiating crew. Ryan was running long before. I mean, he was almost in the end zone before I saw somebody wave their hands and blow a whistle. And they said, "Oh no, the whistle was blown." I didn't hear a whistle. I'm standing right in the field. I think they screwed it up, and they probably realized they screwed it up. And people have good games and bad games, and I'm not sure that the game was as managed as well as it maybe should have been. But regardless, Fort Atkinson had some plays called back too. The big hit on Cody Wolf, where James Notagle's 80-some-yard touchdown run got called back. That wasn't an officiating mistake necessarily, but it was a big play that took some momentum away from them. That's part of football. Unfortunately, that went against us. If it doesn't, who knows what that scoreboard says tonight at the end.
Mm-hmm. And they had another one too, where it was a downfield hold. It just seemed like they ended up scoring after that, but in a way, Fort was kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And as a 6-1 team going to become 7-1, you don't expect that from a type of team with these guys, but yet your guys kept their heads all game and just stuck to football.
Yep. And I know our guys got brought in, both teams, by the officiating crews, and said, "Hey, let's play football." And I got out there and I said, "Hey guys, I know that you were wronged in that fumble return for a touchdown." I don't think I used the word wronged, but we'll leave that there. It's time to lock it in and play football. That's behind us. We can't do anything about that. Move on. And our kids did, and because they've dealt with a lot of adversity this year, they're able to handle it. And so, they played football and they gutted out a competitive game for almost 4 quarters.
Last year you were able to send the seniors away with a win on the home field to go to the playoffs. This year, they're not going to the playoffs, and right now they're still looking for a win. What was it like to see those guys not only be 0-8, but to lose that last game at home in a game that that they just really wanted?
Yeah, it's disappointing, but that's part of football. And I'm sure there's a lot of plays we would have loved to have back tonight. I'm sure there's a lot of kids that played their last game out here that would have liked to have had a little bit more of their off-season training time back too. And that's the unfortunate reality of, sometimes things don't work out for you, but kids will make their own breaks. And what I'm really hoping for is that every one of our underclassmen sees what potential is here and decides to start making their own breaks once football season is over. And they do that, we can have a lot of fun in the future.
One of the exciting things about going to the playoffs is you never know when the season's going to end. So every week is just that much more exhilaration. This year, next week is the last week. How do you prepare the guys to play that one final game and yet still have fun with it and remember what high school football is all about?
Well, I think that's easy, and I've only had to do that one other time in my career, because every year we seem like we're at least fighting for that playoff spot, even if we're 2-7 and got to win our third game to become, 2-6, got to become 3-6. But it's easy because football is something special. I even said that tonight. There's nothing else like it. Good luck duplicating this anywhere else in your life. And you ask any one of the coaching staff about some of the best memories of high school, it's going to be here on the gridiron on Friday nights. And I mean, I would say without question, mine is a little more special because I got to spend it with my father as a head coach. But yet, this should be where kids, you know, think back and smile about it and say, yeah, I was a football player. So getting fired up to win that last game, to give them something to remember, it's huge, you know, and there's no question that they got every reason to play as hard as they can. And then getting that momentum going into the following year for the underclassmen is equally as huge. So I think there'll be no question that we'll be ready to play next week.
All right. Anything else?
That sounds good.